Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the very tardy live stream. Here's the deal. I went into the wrong studio. I was live for about 10 minutes by myself. And after a while, when I said that there was nobody on stream, not that I'm a big guy, not that I'm a big YouTuber, but when nobody showed up, I was like, something's wrong. So I ended that and I realized I was in the wrong. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Skylar Santana, and on this channel, we talk about all things watch related. And we're doing an unboxing. We're having a conversation with the community because that's what it's all about. And we're gonna have some fun. So I'm gonna skip the posted wrist checks. I do apologize. I just went through that by myself for 10 minutes, so I'm not gonna go through that again. But I do appreciate everybody posting their wrist checks. Let me know if the AC is giving any bad feedback, if you guys can't hear me. I love that you guys are showing me your wrist checks. I saw Wise Watches on there. I saw Ben 10's Groom. I saw a lot of great wrist checks, man. And speaking of wrist checks, I've got my Nomoki homage, okay? It's a homage Holiday Inn. It's a homage of the SRP 017. Here's the deal, man. If I want to get that watch, and I do want that watch over the new SPB 121. I want the OG, but I can't get it because it's at a crazy price. But that's what I have on wrists. It is on leather. I did switch things up. But let me address the chat real quick because I am super late. Raymond D's in the building. Jose Medina. Hello, sir. Raymond D is in the building, and you guys are having a field day. Nick Figueroa is in the building. What's going on, brother, man? You got the Boulevard Marine Star. Yo, we were talking about Boulevard in the live stream from Travis Wiley. Where's my Boulevard? And I want to show you guys that watch as well. It's over here. Let's get that from the box because I've been having a lot of fun with this thing. Now, the strap that I had on here, I had another leather strap, which was on this Seiko Nomoki mod, right? We'll talk about that, man, because look, we'll talk about that. But I have the Boulevard on the Vario strap. Now, this is a bund strap without the back piece. I love the way that looks. I think that looks fantastic, if I do have to say so myself. And lug to lug is real for this watch. I think it's a smidge too long on the lug to lug. I feel that at this point, I probably won't do it again, right? It just makes it. It just makes it. But it's a little bit bigger than I like it to be. That's all I'm trying to say. And the F91W, of course, is on wrist for sure. But yeah, man, put your Boulevard on a leather strap. Fantastic. Love that watch. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. At a good price. Wait for the holidays. Get it at a good sale price. That's what I did. That being said, we're going to wait a couple minutes and then we're going to do the unboxing for sure. Going back to this Nomoki watch, which is pretty much a one-for-one for the SARB, right? And now it's conflicting because technically I could get the 121. I believe it's the 121 SPB for the new version. But you know what's conflicting about it? There's a Seiko movement in this watch. Yes? So is it worth the what's the price that I could probably get one today? Close to $500-600, like I would say so. That's 600 beans that I could be putting into a micro brand, independent brand towards that. So that's my conflict, especially when I have, and Nomoki makes some great parts, man. We actually will be assembling another watch. They did a Blancpain edition, a little different too, if I must say so myself, on the case material. So it's not going to really be a totally one-for-one. They have that option, but I didn't go that way. And this weekend, I'm going to be releasing that Seagull review of the diver that was sent to me. But today, we're looking at Bouderie, as you guys saw on the thumbnail. And they sent me over a watch, and I want to see what you guys are saying before we unboxing. Yup, 600. Yeah, man, I was looking at it. I was like, where's it at? Because when something's within reach, it does feel a little funny to have a homage of it. At my stage of the game, I wouldn't have said that if it was early on, because look, saving $200, $300, whatever it is, you know, I think this Nomoki came out to like $4 and change versus the $6 on a new one. But I did want to get the OG looking style one. I think it's minus the Cyclops. What are the differences? Minus the Cyclops, and I believe the date wheel is black versus the white. Minor details. But we are very particular when we get to this level. And so the price difference of getting and building this together, now, if you enjoy the process of actually building a watch, it may be worth it for you. But I don't know, man. I'm conflicted on this one. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I should just get the Seiko anyway? But then also, mind you, that's $600 that I could be putting into a independent brand, micro brand, something that I would really enjoy when I already have something that looks so close to it. Let me see what you guys have to say. What is the chap saying? Nerd with swag is in the building. Appreciate you. The OG Alpinist is much better in size. I agree with that. That's one of the things that I was going to look at, Jose. I was going to look to see what the thickness was for the SPB 121, because this is super thin, man. I was driving with this and I was wrist checking myself way more than I should have. My eyes should have been on the road a little bit more. I'm joking. But man, oh man, this is like a chip. This is like a potato chip on the wrist. I love that. The dimensions are perfect. Lug to lug on wrist, it's absolutely on the money. So I don't know. I don't know, man. Do I get the original? I guess if I have to think this hard, I probably don't really need it. Eric Mack is in the building. What's going on? Seiko Marine Master. I love it. Nice. Nice. And I can't pronounce that, so I'm going to say Vard. Very nice. Did I miss anybody? Nope. I caught that. Let me go back. Yup. What were you guys saying before I came in? You was talking that smack. That watch needs a rewind or battery change. No, maybe I need a rewind or battery change. That's what was going on behind the scenes. Dude, I opened up the wrong studio and I went live by myself. Listen, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. What else are you guys saying? Hi to each other. Heritage go Seiko, quality go micro. What? Quality go micro? Because Seiko's been slipping? Is that why you say that? I hear you. I hear you. All right, so check it out. Let's do the unboxing. This is the box that it came in. It's a container. I think that's kind of cool. It's different. It's definitely different. And I love the fact that it has like that kind of import type of feel and everything else. It has a sliding drawer to come out. That's pretty cool. I thought that was actually pretty nifty. Now, why was I interested in taking a look at one of their watches? Well, we all know the A11. I've shown you guys the Vario version. They took their spin on the A11 Boldary. Now, what they're known for and what I've become privy to is the fact that they use titanium. Not only on the case, but they give you a titanium bracelet and they have screwed in links. So then I was like, Boldary, you have my attention. And if I'm being honest, when I reached out to them, they were working on a Seagull movement. It was a chronograph, ST17, ST21. I should know this. I'm doing a Seagull review. But they came out with a Seagull watch chronograph, all titanium. That's the one that I really want, but it wasn't ready. So we had to do this before we do that. And that's where we're at. So let's take a look at it. Let's do the unboxing, shall we? So yeah, slide out drawer in a container box. Very nice. Has some padding. Cards this is not like a true unboxing. There's no stickers on it. I had to size it. I am field testing it because when I review a watch, and I was conflicted about that. I was like, if I wear the watch, it's going to have scratches. So that might poo-poo the review on their eyes. However, I should be field testing these watches, yes? So if you want to get a full feel for the watch, you got to wear it. And you can't just wear it inside. I thought about that. I did that. But that ain't it. You're not getting the sunlight. You're not getting the environment. You're not getting the this. You're not getting the that. So you really need to take the thing outside. You really need to spend some time with it. And I like to spend like a week with the watch, at least, minimum. I'd love to do 2 weeks, even a month. That long? Yes. Yes. How am I going to give you guys a non-generic review? Where's my cloth? I'm going to give you guys a non-generic review without actually field testing the field style watch, if you will, right? So this is the one that I went with, man. And I'm going to show you guys also, let me get the lighting on it. This is the one I went with. All titanium, as you guys can see on the case, on the bracelet. It has the twisted lugs. It's extended. The crown is at the 4 o'clock position. Screw-in crown. It has makeshift crown guards. It's flush at the actual attachment here on the lugs. It has that warm kind of hue because it kind of gives you like that bead blast, you know? If I could pull up the Nomoki, if I could pull up the, where's my boy's watch? Where's my boy's watch? I got to get it. A little bit of a difference, more gray tone for the titanium. I don't know what grade it is. I'll be honest with you. I didn't go in a deep dive with it yet, but I'm going to show you guys a comparison with the Bead Blast bracelet versus the titanium. This is the titanium. This is the Bead Blast. So very, very close feel. What you can't pick up with your eyes on camera is that there's more of a gray tone for the titanium, and it's hard to see here. I know. I'm actually looking at my camera. They look very similar, but this one's actually grayer. And for the price point, doing a full titanium, now it's a stamped class, right? We're not getting anything milled here. This is an affordable brand. Boldery is an affordable. Do we call it a micro brand? What's the difference? Where does it end? Where does the line begin? Where does it end? Yes. I think a lot of these Chinese brands are trying to push and advocate definitely to be micro brands or independent brands, more so micros. I think if they do that, they definitely need to lean into having more of their own personal design. Because if you think San Martin, it's hard to desire the will to call it a micro brand. But I think that a lot of people can, because especially now that they have Zhenghong, which is an actual micro brand, but later down the road for San Martin, they were making more unique designs. So a lot of people felt that way. Chinese production is becoming ridiculous. They're blurring lines. They're getting good. And as they try to crack into the Western market more and more, I think that they do want to be considered a micro brand, because I think what they are understanding is enthusiasts and things of YouTube and watch reviewers and everything that we're doing here. It makes sense. We're their market. We're the ones with 60 watches. So if they want to do that, then they have to zero in. And I think that this has enough. Let me know if you know of a watch. I mean, obviously this is from the A11, so don't say that. But is there another watch fully titanium in the market with this kind of dial, right? And it's hard for you to appreciate the dial from this camera. It's actually like a burgundy red with a granial type of texture. And I think it looks fantastic, man. It piqued my interest the most. And again, we're going to take a look at the website. And then on the website, they're doing also chronos as well. Let me see what you guys are saying. Nice dial. Yeah, it does. It does have a very nice dial. Let me go back before I go forward. I was there. You guys are saying hi to each other there. I own one of their field watches. Okay. Which model? Which model do you own, brother? I'm curious to know, because we're going to take a look at the website as well. Let me put this on wrist, actually. But yeah, I love these extended lugs. It's kind of like a futuristic, right? I was recently watching. I recently finished whatever was I forget which streaming thing it was, but you guys know the show Alien Earth. Fantastic show. If you like the Alien saga or just the Alien movies, yeah, you got to watch that show. It's fantastic. But I'll tell you what, man. I think that they would be wearing one of these watches, right? Bringing something old with something new with that titanium and that kind of lug, right? Extremely long lugs. Gonna tell you the problem with that, though. We're gonna get into that. I love the design. I love the fact that they used titanium on it for sure. Hang on one second. Let's do this. My screen is a little dark. I love the fact that they did all titanium on the bracelet. We have 3 points of tooled adjustment. Push deployment clasp, fold over security clasp. Again, screw down crown, sapphire, AR coating. No issues for me as far as the reflection is concerned. I'm putting the light against it, so you may see something. And then we have that faux patina to tie it in. I think it was a good mix. I think it was a good way to combine things and make their watch. And for me, this stands alone enough where I could say they're on the right track. Have you guys paid tariffs from any watches coming from China? I haven't just yet. I did recently see Seagull prices go up a little bit. Now I don't know if that was because of the tariffs or if they were just initiating a price increase. I can't remember exactly what the price was. I want to say it was like a $275 watch. It was one of their more affordable watches. It was a $275 watch that went to like $3 and change. Yeah, so that sounds like a tariff. increase. But I don't know for the other Chinese brands, Jose, if you're talking more so like San Martin or Bouldery for that matter and everything else. What are you guys talking about? Nice style. Raymond definitely agrees. I have not ordered any watches from Asia yet. Exactly. I have some Merkur. Yeah, I have a Merkur watch too. Watches on my list, but I don't want to pay extra. Yeah, I already, Jose, I already got them things. You know what I mean? Hold on one second. I realize that putting my watch boxes this far away is probably not idea. But this Pure Pollen that I've showed you guys before, and yes, I'm wearing shorts, business up front. I got this Pure Pollen that's by Merkur, the Jump Hour. Super affordable way to get the Jump Hour. I think this was like $70. Now it's not $70. It's like way more. As they became more popular, I think that they also took advantage of that. I don't think it's just because of, I think, in fact, before the tariffs, they were increasing their prices as well. They're more of a homage brand, but to me, since they homepage, Bertucci watches, gotcha. Alien Earth hybrid watch, yeah, dude. I think that this Bouldery is like if I had to, like they should be wearing it on the show. They should be wearing this watch on the show for sure. Like just the lugs and how it looks like a ship and everything else. Still paying homage to the A11. I think that's a cool, dope concept. Brands like San Martin, Pagani Design need an ambassador and face like Mark from Island. That's a round of applause. I'd shake your hand if I could. That's a super duper point. I think it starts with getting on channels and getting feedback from enthusiasts, pivoting, making sure that you pivot when you get it. It's not enough to say, here's a watch and let me see how many sales I can get from your review. You got to get the feedback from the community, from the watch reviewer, do it several times, and then see what is hitting as a repetitive thing. Now you're going to hear quick release and on the fly and all these technical things over and over again, which may be annoying because those things cost more. Therefore, we may say that we want it until they put it on there. And then we saw that video recently with Mark with the clasp cost itself. I didn't fully watch the video, but just by the thumbnail, I'm imagining that piece cost more. Yes. So, but that's a super duper point, dude. I think that if you want to walk in the shoes of a micro/independent brand, if that's your goal and how you want to be viewed upon instead of being something that's just homage and something that's just not heavily looked at in detail or in depth. Because here's the deal. The second you say NH35s, a lot of people are already like, nope. And it's not even all the way because they don't believe in that movement. It's just they have a desensitization, say that 3 times, to the NH movement. I do as well to a certain degree, but I never shy away from it. If I see something cool like this, that if it makes sense, I'm not mad at it. And something fully titanium with the bracelet and everything else, yeah. Now the weight, I'll tell you what, man, with the NH movement in here, it is still lighter than most watches for sure, but it's not super light. Most titaniums that I've gotten on the channel that were like a homage watch, Tandorio comes to mind, they didn't have the bracelet. So I think the bracelet may be paying a different factor in the role of weight, because that's one thing that I struggle with, that most people struggle with as well, is when you get titanium, it feeling super light. But I'm starting to get away from that because you know what? The A11 on the Vario is also a super lightweight because it's quartz. But the thing is done so fresh and so clean that I'm not mad at it. But Jose, you're on the money, dude. I think that they got to get a face to the company. That is 100% a necessity. Graduating to shows is probably priority, but definitely putting out their own content, giving us the more behind the scenes, gravitating towards feedback from watch enthusiasts and content creators is another thing. But you got to find a way to connect. That's the difference between a micro brand and any other brand that's out there for that matter. Independent brands are included, but it's usually the bigger brands that stray away from it. I'll tell you something. I am rather impressed. A brand that's been around for 70 years like Seagull, I'm impressed that they sent me an email and asked me if I wanted to review one of their watches. I take that as they're interested in the feedback of watch enthusiasts. So we may be seeing that kind of shift as well at the same time as the sun blinds me. we may be seeing bigger brands saying, maybe we should be listening to the public. And by public, I mean the watch wizards, and seeing what they want and what they're saying about our watches and everything else. But we'll see. Hopefully, it's not just an advertising thing. Hopefully, it's bigger than that. And that's what I want my watch reviews to be. I want them to be bigger than just, yeah, here's a watch, lug to lug, thickness, and everything else. Chinese micros are starting to come out with watches with great finish and value. San Martin, Sega, Seastern, to name a few, also had a recent look at Arterial Wen. Oh, Arterial Wen is leading the pack, dude. I mean, San Martin and Arterial Wen in very different classes, but I think they're going to be at Windup, and if they are, I missed them last year, man. They were there. I was looking at my Windup books at 23 and 24, and I realized their name was in the book, and I just didn't do the right thing. And Selton watches. I got to look at that. Thank you for putting me on. Jump hour. Yeah, it was a jump hour. I'm going slow on chat now. Let me catch up. Met homage. Okay, got you. Oh, snap. Ben 10 News is in the building. What's going on, bro? That clasp Mark was showing is $400 for the clasp only. Stop the cap. What is it made of? Pure gold? Come on, man. Nobody's buying that thing. Switch watches. I'm wearing my JLC Polaris Chrono after hitting the gym. Good for you, bro. Good for you. Very nice. I love your watches, bro. You still haven't put your Brew watch, though. I gotta find a way to put Brew into the conversation. I always will. Yeah, I'm a Brew boy. I'm a Brew boy. I'm ridiculous. I like to have some fun. Ben 10. Now that the watch is running, can I maybe get a wrist shot in the community post? Maybe. I'm feeling good this Friday, Skylar. We are on the brown. Nah. I had to chill with the alcohol, to be honest, man. Health-wise, I just felt like I need to chill out with that stuff. I was doing it responsibly because I'm a grown man. But I mean, yeah, the extra calories and the lethargism, if that's a word after that, I'm gonna chill off that for a while, bro. In fact, I may be starting to hit the gym, and I've already started cleaning up my diet and everything else, man. Health first. All of this is fun and games. But if you ain't got your health, what do you have? Yeah, Polaris Chrono is fire. Hi-Ho Silver Lone Ranger's in the building. Look at Ontario Wen. No, I've definitely seen their watches in the flesh. Oh, yeah, in the flesh. Recent Toronto timepiece show. That's the show. Wait, was I saying in the other live that where I was by myself? Probably. Yeah, the Toronto show. So Wise is going to be at Windup, ladies and gentlemen, just so you guys know. And they were at that Toronto show, I do believe. Yeah, Arterial Wen. I hope they're at Windup as well, because that's where I'm going. All I can say is that their watches are on another letter. I can only imagine, dude, I'm impressed with their watches from afar, from a screen. See what I'm saying? Like, you do have some videos that are very highly pixelated, and you get a good look at it, but you could just tell when a watch is going to be better in person. So I do appreciate you giving me that heads up, Nick. What are we talking about? Ben 10, Raymond, okay. Hi, all from... Oh, what's going on, Nishat? How are you? Tell Adrian I said hi. That's the family, y'all. That's the family. Nishat. Hope you guys are doing good. That's my sister-in-law. She's the best. Brew boy! I wore it a few times this month. I'll take it. Yeah, I understand with chilling from drinking. I do. Yeah, I don't even know when. I don't even do it like that, but I'm definitely going to take a chill pill, man. I got to get the health in check. You know what I mean? We've got our first super chat from my man Raymond. Hold on, Raymond D. Starting much or not yet? Watch. Nah, yeah, we definitely started, bro. Appreciate the super chat for sure. Thanks, Eric Mack. What's on? Okay. Yes. Yeah, Wise is going to be there. Hold on. My chat just jumped. Hold on. Where were we? Yes. Wise was there. Yeah, no, I know. And you know what? What I realized going back to what was said earlier about brand representation, if you do want to walk in the shoes of micro brands, and the two people that were there are actually the ones that do the live. So obviously that they're a micro brand. And you know what? Judging, I think Wise Wise is ready for, they already do really well. What am I trying to say? I want to say this very clearly, therefore it doesn't get misconstrued. They have a lot of watches that have identity, right? If you look at the 80X, we all know what it reminds us of, but it's done so well. And it has enough to like be on its own a little, yes? But I'll tell you what, man, especially like their shades of Thailand, I get weak in the knees. They're doing a Panda Chrono for sure. They may have already had it out. They may have already showed it at the show. Wise is ready for an explosion watch. And I know that they have to take their time. I know things cost a lot of money. And what do I mean by an explosion watch? Just something. Think about the metric retro from Brew, or what else is another explosion watch from Brett? Think about the straddle timer for Jack Mason, right? Just not saying that they're not big, they are. And I really love what they do, but they need that piece that's like, and maybe I just haven't gone through the archives enough. Maybe they already have it. But I'm very excited for Wise. They're on the right track for sure. And I think that we're only going to see great things from them. So if you have a chance and you're going to be at Windup, they're going to be there, like I said. And you definitely want to take a look. Put the watches on hand so like that you can see what I'm talking about. You will feel like you're just holding straight up luxury. People in chat, back me if I'm wrong. I have one of the original divers from Wise, and I just bought at a great deal unworn in the Pelican case, 2 extra straps. Nice, bro. I love that. And going back to the Seiko, bro. If I found the Seiko Alpinist Sarb 017, if I found it for like a crazy price, or even, you know what? Scratch that. I'm not gonna find that at a crazy price. But if I found the Seiko Alpinist, the newer version, if somebody was going to let that go for like half, I'll buy it used. I'd have to grab it. Half would be like 300. Oh, yeah, I'm grabbing it. I'm grabbing it all day long. Pause. Oh, Ben 10 News with this. With the super chat. I appreciate you, bro. It's a little different every time. The super chats are like a snowflake. You feel what I'm saying? With the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Really do. Really do. I'm going to bring up the website for Botery. I don't want to get off track, but you guys have a phenomenal job of getting me sidetracked. Eric McNice. Okay. Aterio Win Watches is a very good looking watch, but for some reason, I am not drawn to it. And you know what? I'm noticing that that's happening with me a lot. Like, there are so many watches that I can appreciate that I know, like, I don't have to own it. Like, I really like that watch, but I'm never going to buy it type of thing. You know what I mean? And so I can still appreciate a watch, but if it's just not for me and not for my collection, like as I go along, 5 years collecting, I know what my style is. I know what I'm going to rock. I know what I'm going to wear. Just because it's not for me doesn't mean I can't appreciate it. So I know what you mean, Lone Ranger, for sure, man. I could digest timepieces very differently now, if you will. Is fire. I want to buy one, but Sartoria Billiards has my attention. So many good independent. Yeah, that's another thing too, Ben. There are so many options, and I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily that there's so many options. I think if you're more disciplined, but you have to ask yourself, yes, what is that watch that you're currently looking at? What brings you to that watch more so than the Aterio Win, right? Like, if there's a specific reason, then you know where you're at. And so even though you're tempted to own everything, I don't think that you necessarily have to without even feeling bad about it. Further than that, I've been appreciating my collection. I've downsized it. I've changed so many straps out, like ridiculous. I have so much fun, which reminds me, I want to update you guys on the Mission Impossible. So I said I wasn't going to modify it in any way. I was going to leave it. The strap was more supple than I thought, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, I got home that day and I changed out the strap because I just started messing around. And so I put this kind of like, what do you call this? I don't know, like this camping type of thing, right? And I think it looks super dope on here, right? A lot of colorway to the dial and to the case itself. So I thought that was cool. Modified lugs on there. So yeah, I guess it didn't take me too long to do that. But that's what I did with it. I think it looks super dope. It's kind of like my DW 5600 now, which also has a very similar strap to it. Yeah, similar strap, right? Super dope. Titanium case. Having fun with a lot of affordable watches, man. My collection's not crazy priced pieces, but I'll tell you what, I know how to have a lot of fun changing straps. Been doing that a lot this year. Been doing that a lot, having a lot of fun. But there are a lot of options, Ben. I do agree. I visit Wise Table. I need to visit Wise Table. I want something with a 9075. That might be the one. Yeah, the ADX, dude. They have that all day long. I don't know if they have the 9075 on different watches. I would imagine that they do. For sure. One came Timex Diver. Who's buying it? Dude, I'll tell you what, man. I'm going to spill the beans a little bit. I'm working on a wind-up shop video because I really want to promote that shop. It's a mini experience of the shows that they produce. I took a lot of B-roll, and I'm just going to be talking about my experience, but I want to put it together in a script where there's a lot of value in what I'm saying instead of just trying to remember off the top of my head and freestyle like I do on these lives. My point of that is there was an $8,000 G-Shock and there was a $2,000 G-Shock at their showroom because they had a G-Shock takeover. And can I tell you, they sold both? And they had more than one. But you would say to yourself, who's going to buy an $8,000 G-Shock? Yes. Let me say this clearly. Let me enunciate. It's an $8,000 G-Shock. And they had a $2,000 G-Shock. So they effectively, if my math is correct, sold $10,000 worth of G-Shock to one person because he bought it for his son, and then he had to get one for himself. And you can imagine which one he bought for himself. So yeah, there's a market for everybody, I guess. I bought the Wise for $100. Huh, bro, you got to plug me up. What are you keeping the secrets for? Never worn all tags and paper. What? Never worn all tags and paper, dude. And I'll tell you what. The used market. I used to I don't know if used is for me. Here's what happens: people buy watches in such a rate. Most recently, when we're going back 5 to 10 years, especially in the COVID area, there are people buying so many watches, and you can find the right kind of deal where the person barely wore the watch or never wore the watch, and you'll pay half the price for the watch or less. In your case, $100 for a Wise that's effectively around $7 and change is crazy. So yeah, I'm definitely open to the used market. And again, if I find an Alpinist at like $300, guys, send me a link. You know what I'm saying? I love Grand Seiko, but I can't spend the money. Grand Seiko is phenomenal. Jose, I thought you owned Grand Seiko. You own Grand Seiko, bro. Stop capping. Maybe you're talking about another piece. That's a new Timex, as likely. So the Seiko, hold my beer. Yeah, basically. So many watches that force you to just admire them rather than buy them all. Exactly. You're almost forced to either go bankrupt or try to enjoy watches from afar and or just appreciate them for what they are and then stack your collection, which fits you the best way, if that makes sense. Hey, beautiful. The queen is home. Hannibal Lecter's in the building. He says on deck. Yeah, once you have a few great dials or dress watches, it becomes easier not to buy anymore. That's where I'm at. It's hard. It's harder to impress me. It's easier for me not to. Why am I just showing my head? We move up a little bit. It's easier for me to say no to watches for sure. Nerd. But vintage watches are hard not to splurge on for me. And that's completely the opposite for me. Like, I just cannot get myself to go to the vintage category. And I know exactly why. It's because you have the micro brands and the independent brands like Laurier and Baltic that do it so well, at least for me. It's not the same thing because you buy vintage for the historical value for it. You buy vintage for just that, right? So if that were that important to me, then I would go for it. But I'm cool with something that is resembling it. You know, you have that, you have this, which is resembling an A11 original. It's a completely different modern twist, but you have the Vario watch, right? That's also A11. So to me, like this is all I need right here. Again, this is more modern, even on the actual aesthetics, because he removed the second hand on there, effectively making a tribute to peace instead of war. And then he has his like trench watches, his pilot watches. This is actually like the pilot style watch. There's an actual trench watch which has a sub-dial second hand, but you have Vario, you have Baltic, you have Laurier. There's a whole bunch of names I'm probably not thinking of that do vintage very, very good. And for me, that's enough. And I like the fact that it has modern technology, not only the movement, but I don't have to worry about the seals. I don't have to worry about the oils, right? Because oils were wildly different back in vintage days. Now they're more synthetic. And back in the day, they were more animal fat. Therefore, they just didn't live as long. But I guess that's less of a worry because if you do a service, I would imagine that they would be putting synthetic oils in that watch anyway. But yeah, I really get a kick out of other people appreciating it and seeing other people wear it. Ben 10, I like your wristwatch check of your Gruen in there. So these watches are not splurge on. I read that. What are we talking about? You guys are saying hi. Did I catch up yet? No. I have the leather straps going up. Wait, say that again. I have the leather straps going up my calves. Okay. No doubt. True Timex fans would buy it. Yeah. And listen, that's exactly it. When we talk about the Casio Edifice, that sneaks its way into the conversation every single time. They were unafraid to release that watch because they knew, and the G-Shock that's $8,000, and that Timex that we're talking about, like Timex is notoriously known for making super affordable watches. So when they do something at a price point that's at $1,000, you may furrow your eyebrows, but I'm telling you something went into that market research where they knew that they would have people purchase the watch. So therefore, you have people buy it. What are we talking about? Yeah, 8K G-Shock. There was an 8K G-Shock and it sold. It sold. I think I have footage of it too, so I'll show you guys in the video. Lone Ranger with the with the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you, Lone Rangers in the building. Appreciate you. Multiple King G-Shocks. Wait, what? Did I lose my place? No G-Shocks yet. Woofa. It's hard for me to believe that anyone out there who has been collecting for years doesn't have a G-Shock. But at the same time, like, I know that's the reality of a possibility for sure, but it's just like, how? Buying watches, I learned to eat Ritz crackers and bologna with the registry. Yeah, it could be like that sometimes, I guess. Side note, Amazon stock was booming today. Almost made me want to buy a watch to celebrate the gains. Hey, listen, man, you do what you got to do. Tim Cheeseman is in the building. Damn, when they said, hey, beautiful, I thought he was talking to us. Nah, bro, sorry. I like you guys. I love you guys, and not like that, you know. Air King for 6,900. Should I? I mean, if you like it, I love it, bro. I can't spend your money. Yes, you guys are. Air King for 7K, especially if it's legit. Tim, that's hard. Okay. Where are we? Where are we on chat? Where are we? Julius Caesar makes an appearance. What's going on, bro? Welcome in. Trying to catch anything for me. You guys are saying hi. Okay, I finally caught up on chat. So let's take a look at the website, shall we? Let's take a look at the website. I forget how to do this, where I remove myself and I make this full screen. You guys can still hear me, right? Yep, my mic's still firing off. Okay, cool. So this is where we're at. I wanted to show you guys the website real quick, and then we're gonna wrap things up. But I forgot to show you guys the strap too. So it did come with a strap. As far as reporting things early on, I know there's some more findings. Well, before we get to that, let's take a look at the dial, right? The dial is actually really what happened. The dial is hide this. Hold on. You know what? Let's make this like this so it'll be easier for me to navigate. I want to get a close up on the dial. Hopefully I could do that. Yes, I can. Here we go. So that's what I meant by how the dial is granular. Now I was also very heavily interested in getting a red dial. This is how I wanted to do it. I do also like that at the indices and at the hour markers, minute markers rather. I like that kind of patina look. I like the color that they put on here. You see the faux patina done. I think it's done pretty well, actually. And that granular, deep, dark red, kind of like a what's that type of red, babe? Burgundy. That burgundy kind of red, very, very nice. Now, here's where I think they misstepped, right? And I'm going to get into this in the review. Hopefully, I really do hope Bouldery is looking to be an actual micro brand. I think at the aperture here for the date, they should have went red. They should have blended in. This is the type of dial that if you're going to make enthusiasts happy, and now that's not always the case. You can get away with a white date wheel itself, right? This is a day date. But I think in this case, to match that burgundy red, they should have went with a burgundy color to try and actually pair it up there. But nonetheless, I'd still like the difference in orientation for the actual Bouldery name, the Voyager for the line. They put automatic underneath the actual date wheel aperture, which is correct for me because that keeps things lined up. I think it has a fantastic dial, and they have a whole bunch of different options for their Voyager, all of which, and I do believe all of their watches in general showcase titanium when it comes to the bulk of their watches instead of doing like stainless steel. They have bronze here as well. I'm trying to see if they even have stainless steel. I don't think that that's their shtick. I think their shtick is to take this A11, do their own modern rendition. Some of them here have subdials, which gives you more of like a vintage type of feel. But again, it's not at the actual center of the dial, so it still has that kind of modern twist. But let's, I want to show you guys this. So actually, let's look at some of the dials, black dial, white dial. This is a funky chicken here. I mean, it works. It works. It works. I think this is like a kind of like almost like a fume style type of thing, right? On the dial. This is kind of nice. Okay. This is like the camo. Okay. Tying into that military. Not mad at that. Listen, and at the price, these are snackers. Okay. I don't know if this is going to include tariff at point of sale, right? But nonetheless, price point, full titanium with bracelet, 159, 160 is where we're at. Without it, 120. So I'm not mad at it. Here's this watch with different strap options. Again, I chose this one with the titanium bracelet. It came with this NATO strap. The NATO strap is abysmal. It's very stiff. I was excited about it originally because it had like the titanium keepers, so it was on theme, but it's super stiff. I'll tell you something else about this watch, okay? Over here at so this is a very deep lug, right? It's a twisted lug. I think it looks very nice, very futuristic. It gives it its characteristic. The holes are about here, and therefore there's an extreme gap when you're putting a regular leather strap. They tried to remedy this by having two drilled holes into the lug itself. And here's a depiction for it, right? Like that's the amount of space, and it actually is more dramatic, right? Because if you would imagine you're attaching a strap all the way back here, so then this piece of material of strap is coming down into part of that gap that you would have. So as you can see here at the bottom, it's being attached at the very end. And it's not really depicting two drilled lugs in this picture itself, but the watch that I have has a drilled lug here, and then it has a drilled lug a little further back that tried to help that out, but it doesn't effectively do that. Therefore, when you change out to a regular strap, it's not going to work, in my opinion. I didn't like it, and I messed around with it for a little bit, where I tried a NATO strap, a bun strap, excuse me. Matter of fact, I'll show you guys the bun strap. So this one's made for a smartwatch. It has the cutout for it, But as you can see, it pairs very nice. It's on my wrist. It pairs very nicely with the dial in matching that kind of color. So my recommendation, if you're going for the watch, 1000% go for the bracelet unless you love NATO, where that will effectively cover that gap. Outside of that, so far, the only strap that I saw that works is an actual bun strap, because if you would imagine, the material behind it, once it's attached, is going to cover that spacing. So you're not going to have that issue. You guys are going to see that in the B-roll shots when we do the deep dive review. So I just thought I'd mention that. And again, this is all still preliminary. This is all still very early on. I'm just field testing the watch. It's a field watch, so I got to laugh a little. So I'm going to find more things and details for you guys about it, but I thought I'd add that. Other than that, and look, I'm not taking this thing off the bracelet. Like it's an actual titanium bracelet. We do have quick release on there as well. I thought that was nice. And they have a piece of material underneath the watch to kind of secure, because it's such a long lug jetting out, that if it didn't have a piece of metal that's kind of holding the back of the lug, it would wiggle up and down. So there was a securement that they did on there too. So there was some kind of thought process into making it work. I think that that's how they want to stretch their imagination and kind of be different with that style of watch. And I'm not mad at it altogether. And then we're getting the case back. Actually, you know what? I don't know if they show a picture of the case back here. Let's see if they do, so you guys can get a better picture of it. But I'm so happy. The point that I want to make about the case back, yeah, they do have a picture of it. I was showing you guys before. The point I want to make about the case back is that I'm so happy that they didn't do a see-through case back, right? It is, I believe, also titanium, right? It wouldn't make sense to just make that stainless steel. No, it is. I could tell. The engravement could be better, right? That's another improvement that I could shoot out there. But that's not really for me. That's really for, what I know is out there for enthusiasts to like. So other than that, I thought I was happy to get a solid case back. Because as you guys know how I feel by now, see-through or exhibition style casebacks definitely have their place, especially with more mature collectors. However, I feel like it's more effective when you have a movement that is decorated, or a movement that's just different, something that you're not used to seeing, or B, when the watch is super thin to begin with, because now you're going to add thickness to the watch if you have an exhibition style case back. And also for me, like, I know it's a nerdy thing, but I feel that it only offers potentially more compromising to the movement now that you have that glass, whether it be sapphire or whatever the case may be. You have that seal around the glass, and then you have the seal around the actual case back where it's screwing in. So you now add an additional point where you could have water failure. I know that's super nerdy, but that's just something I like to add. Other than that, man, I'm happy about the watch. Oh, it's another thing I wanted to show you guys about the watch as well, about the actual company. Hold on. There was another watch. I wanted to show you guys the original. So this is the original watch that I reached out to them for. I thought it was actually really, really cool. So they're utilizing the Seagull movement. They're keeping their pretty much their case design is going to be the same. That's pretty much their brand identity. Let me just make sure I'm full screen here. Yeah. Okay, cool. They're keeping their brand identity with the actual case shape, and they're adding the chronograph from Seagull, which is, listen, it's very, very smart, right? They want to be known for affordable watches. If you look at their non-chronograph, it's at $169 minus the actual bracelet, $269. So $300 for a chronograph. Effectively, in the design features of an A11, kind of like their own thing though, because I don't really think that I've ever seen this kind of A11 design, this kind of basic field watch with the chronograph features in it at this price point, especially, but even more over with it being fully titanium. If I had to go one way with this, I'm not sure where it would be. I've been a sucker for white dials, so maybe I'd lean there. They have this kind of PVD coated watch. Now, this is saying 72 hours of power reserve. So what are we effectively getting inside of this? That's interesting. I didn't realize that before. Let's see. That's That's the model. The movement is a HZ8240. I think that's a Chinese movement. I have to do my homework on that, but it has 72 hours of power reserve and it's a high beat movement. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So that's what I mean, man. Like the brand is doing some things that are worth a look and at the price point for sure. So a high beat movement, 72 hours of power reserve. It's actually pretty interesting. And this is still titanium, by the way. This is still titanium with a PVD kind of coating on it. It looks like they went a little stronger on the loom. I'd love to field test this as well, but let's take a look at the movement here. How do I blow this up? Like this, like this. Yeah, so here's the movement. And they have a custom rotor. See, they're on the way. They're on their way. They're on their way for sure. I think that they have to probably get away from this case design and do something else, but I'm not mad at the offering. And I do like the actual the details in this dial as well, as you guys can see. Kind of like the how would you call this? Not necessarily a waffle. I don't know how. I guess like a scale type of look to it. I think it's interesting enough. And I'll tell you what, with the Seagull movement, right? Let me see if they list this nice and proper. Yeah, Seagull ST19, beautiful. Of course, by what I told you before, I would go with bracelet for the reasons mentioned. They have a bracelet option, right? Because I know I saw it. Yeah, there. Okay, let's go here. $300. You get a Seagull movement, and you get all the chronographs. I think that it's a nice touch with this little red pusher too. That's not bad. I would imagine the actual NATO strap is going to be the same quality of what I received, which is not that great. Actually, it's terrible, if I'm being candid. But I thought this is very interesting. I'm interested to take a look at this as well, for sure. What are you guys saying in chat? What do you guys think about what they're offering? How do you guys feel about them actually being considered a micro brand? Are they on the right path? Or no? How do you guys feel? I'm going to catch up on chat and then I'm going to peel off. Where we at? Pull myself up. Ooh, all right. I'm going to go backwards on chat, I think. No, I think I was pretty much caught up. Hold on. Okay, we were there. We were there. Where were we? I think we were here. Preparing for an early happy hour. Wow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Friday. TGIF. Sip one for me under the weather. Trap Vision 3D is in the building. What's going on, Travis? How you doing? And okay. Make it a double neat. The new land dweller will have tritium. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. If that's true, man, they're really getting adventurous. I would love to see that. When I think of tritium, the only thing I think of is Protec. Barry Cohen, the OG of tritium, which I got to see what he's up to as well. Tudor hits 100 years next year. Just watch what they drop. Yeah, they probably have something super sick ready for that, for sure. I would imagine. Okay. Here he goes influencing people again. I knew he was going to do it, man. I knew he was going to troll. I knew it. I said it. I made one comment. I was like, he's going to come on here and cook me. I already know. Solid case back is better in my own opinion. It's slimmer and better water resistance. Exactly my point, Nick Figueroa. I think so as well. Again, I'm not saying that there isn't a place for it. Listen, even when we took a look at that Seagull movement, that's something worth putting a actual see-through case back for sure. You know. Hang on one second. You know, it's a super affordable chronograph movement. It's worth having that display case back. This is not going to be a diver, so it's not going to have any crazy aquatic adventures regardless. So on a nice timepiece, I'm thinking about the Elam from Jack Mason. I believe that's a Le Jeux Perret, or maybe that's an ST200. Even that movement is not worth it. I said SW, right? The Salida, I don't think the Salida is even worth it either. I don't think it's that pretty. in my own opinion, in my humbled opinion. How you tell a watch crystal is sapphire? Just put it on your forehead and it'll be cold mineral. Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. I actually have a tester just to make sure I don't put false information out there. But that's another way to do it. The Voyager is homaging a. Yeah, I knew it was going to be a homage of something. Borderi does it better with an automatic movement. A titanium case also comes in bronzo. Yeah, that's something that I saw. Uh-oh. Hang on one second. I lost the chat. Boop. Here we go. But I think they do. I think they do a good job. Isn't a high beat 5 hertz or more? I consider a high beat to be minimum 28,000. Maybe that's just my inexperience, but that's the highest beat that I've ever come close to. But I would imagine that that is even a higher beat. I've never held a watch at that high beat, Julius. So in the world, in my world, a 28,000 is considered high beat. Oh, so now he's hating on display case back. Not hating, dude. It's just time and place, man. I feel like, it's like wearing a baseball outfit to church or something. Like, it's just like, if make it make sense, right? So if it's going to add thickness, if it's going to add more points of water failure, like, also too, realize that that's more of an affordable brand that's doing it, especially like a Baldry or San Martin or whoever. Like, if it's on a high-end timepiece, technically they're going to have something nice for you to look at anyway. Even if they didn't, and it was a dial, if it was a movement that was more sterile, I would still feel safer that they actually took the time to put that watch under the necessary testing to have that. But I still would argue, and I would still look at the thickness being a thing, because I'm getting to the point where, like, I'm appreciating watches that sit thinner on wrist, even though I like chunky watches as well. But I still am starting to appreciate different elements and different dimensions. Might have to make a trip to What watch from Jack Mason? Which watch from Jack Mason? Julius, for me right now, it will be Dr. Pepper. If I could get my hands on the OG, which I probably can't no more, I'm okay with the white dial. I've been becoming a sucker for white dials lately. I don't know what it is. I never really cared. I don't know what happened, but I'm becoming more attracted to white dial watches. And so the Dr. Pepper, having that purple colorway into the bezel insert itself, is totally fine with me. So if it was for me, and I'll tell you what, man, I don't want to say this because it may not happen, but it most likely will. I'm probably going to grab the white dial Dr. Pepper from them. The root beer is fire. But Dr. Pepper is my favorite childhood soda. So for them to actually, it's not like they made the colors the same way and they said, oh, this is Dr. Pepper. They actually have a contract with the Dr. Pepper company. Like, it's legitimately and I know you guys all know this, I'm just thinking out loud, but that's why I can appreciate that timepiece even more so. I would have, in this case, preferred the black dial, but they did that as a limited run. So it is what it is. But I think that's where I would go. But I'll be honest with you, aside from the dress watch, the Elam, because dress watches don't really resonate with me, I could really fire off at any one of their watches, to be honest with you. I like them all. They're all phenomenal. I'm just fortunate to be in the chat. Thank you for not kicking me out yet. It's so silly. 36,000 Seiko's high beat. Yeah, I'm not that really fascinated. I'm definitely fascinated to get movements outside of what I'm used to, but I'm not there yet where I'm like, well, I need it to be the highest beat, the longest power reserve. I need it to be not ISO. What's the chronometer? I don't need it to be chronometer certified. Like, I'm not there yet, but I would imagine I'm going to get there eventually for sure, right? It's like, once you own certain functions and features within a timepiece, where else are you going to go? Like, you've owned it, you've worn it. Even if you've gotten rid of it, you've experienced it. So that's what I'm finding with myself. It's going uphill, or maybe downhill, however you want to, perceive it. All the movement in Jack Mason, What's the movement? I think all their straddle times have the Miyota 9075. And I think the story goes that Miyota, when they developed the movement, which it's not that old comparatively, I think that Jack Mason was one of the very, if not the first, one of the very first brands that they wanted them to feature their movement in their watch, which is outstanding. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, dude. I'm glazing over things. Jack Mason, that's not good. Wait, what? I meant about the movement on the Jack Mason you were referring to as not good looking. Oh, not good looking. I'm not sure if I don't know what the Le Joux Parade looks like. I don't think it's super decorated. I know that they use that. I know they use the Salida, and I know they use a high beat True Traveler Miyota. I'm definitely going to try the root beer, Nick, for sure. And who knows, it may actually steal the show away, because I always fancy myself a root beer too. No, not root beer. What's the drink I like, babe? Cream soda. Five hertz chrono. 5 hertz chrono makes sense more than 5 hertz traditional watches. You would know better than me, sir. So I'm going to take that as advice. Trap, we saved the C for you. I know it's a spectacular. It may even be too large for my wrist. Hey, Ben, whatever you get, man, all I want to do is I want to see that wrist shot. Ladies and gentlemen, I do appreciate you guys for tuning in and having this conversation and let me unboxing and giving me your thoughts and opinions and catching up with me. This was a lot of fun, as it is as always. And stay tuned. We're going to get that Seagull diver review going out soon. I am working on a Nomoki build as well. We have this Bottery that we have to also unpack after I do my deep dive analysis, because I like to let it marinate before I try to put stuff out in the ether. What else? Oh, and the wind-up shop, man. Yeah, I'm going to give you guys a well-scripted, well-designed, value-packed deep analysis and my thoughts and my experiences at the wind-up shop as well, in case you guys are in New York and you have a destination. Because here's the deal. If you're coming to New York and Manhattan is in your manifest, you might as well also mark down the wind-up shop as well, especially if you're outside of the wind-up shows as is, because that's exactly what it is. It's a mini wind-up show. And it's the same vibe. It's the same vibe. If not, it's more relaxed, to be honest with you. Yeah. Because when you go to the wind-up shows, there's a lot of crowd, there's a lot of commotion, there's so many brands, there's so many this, there's so many that. Dude, you can go to the wind-up shop, take your time. You could bring somebody who may not be as experienced in watches and go through different things, ask them different questions, put on as many watches as you want to, ask as many questions as you want to, take as much time, and of course, purchase watches. And with that being said, Scott, I'm going to hurt you. With that being said, I appreciate you guys for spending your most valued asset, which is time. And I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. Enjoy your weekend, ladies and gentlemen.